Good evening, everyone. My name is Gary Vogan with Kaiser Vogan Design. We are land planners, landscape architects, local to Franklin, and are the applicant representing our client, Northwood Raven, of which are the owners, developers of this project, as well as the successful McEwen Northside project down the street across the interstate, across from Whole Foods, McEwen Northside. Also, this same design team is part of that McEwen Northside project as well. Thank you for your time this evening. We appreciate it. Looks like we have about 9 people on here. I'd just like to set a few ground rules as we get going, just to keep it streamlined. If you wouldn't mind just keeping mute and videos off at this time, that'd be helpful. Send some questions through chat would be great. There's not many people, so we can probably ask questions at the end as well. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the city's website, as noted in our mailing notification. If you'd let us please just go through this presentation and get through the chat and answer any questions at the very end, that'd be awesome. We appreciate that. First off, hope all is well. Thank you for joining this neighborhood meeting regarding the proposed continued involvement of a very successful office campus with the potential for mixed use, live, work, and play development unique to the city of Franklin. On the call, we have members of the design team as well, and the developers of the project, Northwood Raven. City of Franklin Planning is also here with some city officials as well attending. So first off, agenda, obviously the introduction, but wanted to talk a little bit about process. This neighborhood meeting is required because we have submitted for a PUD development plan and rezoning from the existing zoning of regional commerce, which is highlighted in the white on this aerial photograph, to allow for residential and commercial uses in addition to the office on the currently undeveloped blocks of the Franklin Park project. I'll get into the plan specific in a second, but the intent is really to re-envision this campus to allow a mix of uses in addition to just the office towers that exist here today, being Franklin Park 1 and 2 and the amenities. We want to provide walkability to these great amenities, to the office uses and potential commercial uses as well. First off, this plan will also be in compliance with the Envision Franklin, which allows and governs all land uses within the city of Franklin. We submitted this application on May 24th of this year, and it's tentative to go before the Franklin Planning Commission July 22nd of this year. Franklin Planning Commission will review, and we hopefully will make a decision to recommend approval to the Mayor and Board of Aldermen, who will have 3 readings, of which one will be a public hearing as well. And that'll take it through like August through October of this year through the Mayor and Board of Aldermen. So that's kind of the process that we're going through. And you can follow that on the city calendar as well. So this plan, I'll just start off the site context for the map. I-65 to the left, McEwen Drive. This is known as the Franklin Park Office Development Campus. Carruthers Parkway running north-south, McEwen Drive east-west. You can see the 2 Franklin office towers here, and then expansive, outstanding amenities within the central loop and the undeveloped tracts here to the west and in the middle. This portion, all within this green area right through here, is all pretty much floodplain within the amphitheater and open space. So great amenities within this campus. I'll just show you this a little bit bird's eye view, a little better picture of what you can see, what we're talking about. You can see I-65 to the left, McEwen Drive to the bottom. You've got the Nissan campus in the background. These 2 existing office buildings are part of the campus, obviously built. There's a neighboring hotel and neighboring residential community to the north as well. And you can see the expansive open space that were built as part of this office campus for these amenities as part of these office users. Zoom in a little bit tighter. This kind of focuses in on the areas that we're actually talking about amending or creating a PUD for this development project. So you see the 2 office towers, their associated parking structures. The blue areas are we're talking about adding more residential uses, commercial uses, and other amenities as part of the campus to really, as I mentioned, re-envision the entire campus and its active spaces, walkability, uses for both residential and office users. Just want to showcase some of the amenities on this site. Built with this campus are some outstanding amenities, a lot of formal open space, an expansive amphitheater, trellis feature, outdoor seating, a lot of walkability and trails, very active to the office market, very engaging. Another slide shows this great amphitheater elements, some water features, seating elements along some of the water bodies. Actually, last May, the mayor of City of Franklin and the mayor's Rogerson of Williamson County had an outdoor State of the City address at the amphitheater, which really showcased what this thing can be. I think a lot of people don't realize this is here, this great outstanding amenities for this office park and the amphitheater. And we hope to build off of this by adding residential and just creating people on the street, walkability, really engaging these open spaces as part of this campus. So in terms of the master plan, what we submitted for application for a PD development plan, we've broken up into basically 4 blocks. So block A to the north here is proposed residential units ranging from 4 to 5 stories of 280 residential units. To the south of that is block B, which is another bank of residential units totaling about 200 units, 4 to 5 stories. On both of these blocks, we're potentially anticipating some ground floor retail activation or clubhouse amenities that activate the street and create integration to the formal open space in the middle. Block C is proposed to be a mixed use 4 to 5 story residential above retail to really create connectivity between the existing office buildings here in this oval and connection to this block C building proposed here. The unique element about block C is that it overlooks the amphitheater as well, and I'll show some architectural elevations that kind of show what these buildings will look like, but I wanted to share the plan with you first. And then finally, block D would be a potential future office user as part of the office campus, very similar to Franklin Park 1 and 2. We brought it into the PD to allow flexibility for this building mass. So this is would kind of round out the entirety of the campus in addition to the existing Franklin office buildings 1 and 2. But to go back to re-envisioning, this is what I'm talking about in terms of residential uses, animating the open space, walking trails, the amphitheater, adding some retail uses that kind of terminated the central park. We'd also like to add a formal plaza, outdoor dining, seating, amenity that is the forecourt to this building C, which really spills out into the street, creates a very unique opportunity, much and very similar to McEwen Town Center or Northside McEwen, if you had a chance to visit that site at all. It really animate the central park as well as the amphitheater with these residential uses. So in total, we're looking to add plus or minus 20,000 square feet of ground floor commercial on these buildings A, B, and C to activate the streetscape. We're adding we're allowed to do up to 12 stories, much like existing office Franklin Park 1 and 2 on block D, which is about 331,000 square feet of office with an ancillary parking deck as well, much like the other office buildings. And then in total, 555 residential units. And of these 555 residential units on this block C, these 75 units would be for sale product. So we have a mix of residential from 480 here and 75 on block C. I'll get into some of the building massing as well, so you can kind of see the character and flavor that we're kind of showcasing within the development. This is a shot kind of standing in front of the open space by the amphitheater, showing the 2 banks of residential units. As I mentioned, this is a varying height of 4 to 5 stories with a central parking deck wrap in the middle. So all sides are surrounded by residential. You do not see the parking structure from I-65, ranging 4 and 5 stories depending on grade. Central courtyards that just create active open spaces and create walkability within the campus, tied to the existing amphitheater. In the background, you'll see the approved office building, and then right in front would be the future potential office building at this location. This shows a little bit better view of the two building masses of residential uses, showing the internal courtyards that spill out to the amphitheater, which is located in this location here. Another interior courtyard here could be a pool amenity, outdoor plazas, outdoor gathering, things of that nature, very active in its environments. This kind of shows the overall campus. The two buildings in the top portion of the page are the two existing office buildings. Block building D would be the future office building, plus or minus 331,000 square feet. It's parking structure. Buildings A with the 280, 200 units on each of these blocks. And then you can see building C, which is the mixed use building with the for sale units above and the ground floor retail fronting back towards McEwen, and then the amphitheater in the background. So all these amenities are kind of central facing to the amenity. All the buildings are central facing to the amenities with a lot of walkability and robust streetscape and active open spaces. Another view shed corridor just showing the building configurations, two office towers to the left, the future building D office building, parking structure, the building massing of residential units here, and building C block here. This is more of a bird's eye view looking at these residential units. You can also see some of the building character that Northwood Raven has done at McEwen North Side as well, to see the flavor and character of the style of the architecture. It's going to be a little bit different here, knowing that we're in a different campus. Franklin Park is a little bit unique, so we like to tie the character of these buildings to this campus, but you can see the flavor of McEwen North Side as well, of which Northwood Raven has done as well. This is the building C with the for sale residential units over the ground floor retail. This is looking back towards the front of this building is looking towards McEwen Drive. So we want to animate this front of this building with some commercial units, with residential above. There's structured parking or podium parking below this building, as opposed to a wrap that was shown on these two buildings. This is a podium parking with commercial residential above. Another view shed is of that central mixed use building with the podium parking and the residential above overlooking the amphitheater to the right. So very dynamic view sheds into the open space of the campus. Another just flavor of character of what these buildings could look like in terms of their mass and stories, ranging from 4 to 5 stories for the residential and up to 12 stories for the office. So with that, this concludes our presentation of the project. Wanted to showcase this master plan and be willing to answer any questions you may have as we've gone through this process. And I see I've got one chat question as well, but if somebody has a question, we can go ahead and open the floor to address anything you may have to discuss. Don't be shy. We've also created a link at the bottom of this page at franklinparkscs.com. You can see the Franklin Park project as well. It shows a little bit more information. But again, really trying to re-envision the campus with a mix of residential and office and retail uses to really activate the space. And given this corridor and its location and infrastructure, we've had several meetings with aldermen just showcasing the plan and walking them through the process and talking them through the ideas of the project. Any other questions, comments before we close out this evening? If not, Chelsea, I guess we'll wrap this meeting up and call to a close.
That sounds good.
All right, then. I appreciate everybody's time. Everybody have a good evening.